Hi guys, and welcome back to SwitchUp and the last video of the year. Happy New Year. We've got some incredible deals for you today, some of the best probably we've seen this year, and also some games that I haven't been able to talk about because they've never been on sale. I've split this list half in the EU regions and half in the US, although there will be some crossover. The prices at the top of the screen will tell you if they're on sale in your region, because if it's massively high, then, well, you know it's not. Apologies for my voice. I currently have COVID, as does everyone in my house, and yeah, it sucks, but I think we are over the worst of it. Okay, what are we going to add to our backlogs before the year ends? Well, let's find out. First sale then from the EU region, although I do have a nice alternative for the US, it's Valkryia Chronicles 4. At the moment it's 70% off here in the UK, which is the lowest it's ever been, but for you US peeps, you can actually buy the double pack. You can get Valkryia Chronicles and Valkryia Chronicles 4 for 40% off, taking that down to just $23.99. Now the fourth game, the most recent one, is excellent. It combines some strategic, tactical, turn-based combat with a really nice, almost JRPG style story set within this lovely world. They call their combat system the Blitz system, and you have direct control when it's your turn. It has a lovely watercolor style artwork, and it's actually set around the same time as that first game, so if you're picking up the double pack, it actually goes well together. Now, number 4 is going to take 10.7 gigs on your SD card, and you're looking at around about 70 to 100 hours if you want to do absolutely everything. That one stays on sale until January the 12th.
Word, boss. I'm locked, loaded, and in-freaking-vincible. Raz is coming through!
If we don't do something, the tragedy will never stop. We have to believe in our goal and keep moving.
We will live to see Hoffen again.
Thanks to Keeps, a slightly different sponsor to our normal, but I can definitely speak from experience as one of the 2 out of 3 guys who's going to experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. Now, thankfully, I acted quite quickly as soon as I noticed anything, and with Keeps, you speak to a doctor and then they ship your treatments discreetly to your door once every 3 months. You can also message them 24/7 if you've got any problems. The average age of our audience is around about 35 and male, so I'm sure I'm not the only one. So you'll know how expensive it can be, but Keeps use generic brands, so it's essentially a bit cheaper. It will take around 4 to 6 months to start seeing some good results, but if you've done your research, you'll know that they have quite a lot of 5-star reviews from people that seem happy with the service. If you're a Glen and have hair down to your ankles, then no bother, crack on. But if you're ready to take action and you want to prevent your hair loss, you can go to keeps.com/switchup, or you can click the link in the description and you'll save 50% off your first order.
Then we've got Ori and the Blind Forest, the definitive edition, down by half to 50% off. That's currently 50% off, down to £7.49. And yep, that's the lowest it's ever been. Now this one is UK only, or I should say EU only, and features, as you probably know by now, the beautiful hand-drawn Studio Ghibli style artwork. It's an action platformer come Metroidvania, and it also will make you cry in the first hour. I almost guarantee it. It has a lovely orchestrated score. Now personally, I think the sequel is better, but I also think this is still so good that you should play Moon Studios' lovingly crafted adventure before you play the sequel. It's a very emotive tale. It does really shine through in terms of performance and visuals, and although it might not look like it, there's lots of special effects and detailed work going behind the scenes with the lovely engine here. Microsoft, fair play to them, actually put in the effort required to get this running and looking fantastic. It's around about 8 to 10 hours, so it's not going to take you far too long, and it has a download size of 3.5 gigs. Sorry, American pals, but you are going to hate me for this next one. It's Red Faction Guerrilla. It's currently 93% off here in the European regions. That takes it down to £1.79. That is ludicrous. Trust me though, I've got your back in the second half of this list. Now, Red Faction Guerrilla is a third-person action adventure title which sees you play as Alec Mason. He's looking for his brother on Mars. Everything goes Pete Tong, and essentially he ends up just blowing up everything and hitting it with a hammer. It seems to be a good solution for most world problems, I'd say. Well, no, not world problems. I'll get banned from YouTube if I say that. This is a really cool game. It doesn't have quite the same level of geomod that the original game used, where you could actually go through mountains and stuff. But as far as like vehicle building and other destructibility, it's amazing. This one holds a 13.8 gigabyte download, and it will take you around about maybe 15 to 30 hours if you want to do absolutely everything. That sale goes on until the 12th of January. Another one that is only in the European region, and hopefully many of you, or all of you, you should have done, have watched the latest Witcher Season 2 on Netflix. I've enjoyed it. I've watched it once already. I think personally it was better than the first season. But if you want to buy the game, if you've not bought the game for whatever reason, then you've got The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, or you can get Thronebreaker The Witcher Tales, which is a very cool take on the Gwent game, which was actually a part of The Witcher 3. Or you could go for the complete edition. Now, the base version of Witcher 3 is $14.99, but honestly, I can't see you not... I mean, actually, I've known a couple of people not get into the game, but 99% of people really enjoy it, even if it takes them a bit of a push to get through the initial. It's a bit slower to start with, but the complete edition is $24.99. A brilliant game. Don't be ashamed to watch a guide on the combat as well, because some people found that a bit tricky to start off with, and you really do have to prep for different monster fights. If you're going to go fight a huge dragon or drake or something, it's really important that you actually read up. There's sections you can read up about their weaknesses, you can prepare your potions and stuff. That's what I liked about it. Some people got frustrated because they went and fought something and died, and I'm like, come on, that's the point. Hundreds of hours of gameplay, and it carries a 14.5 gigabyte download, which is not too bad really. Not too bad at all, but that doesn't include the DLCs. You get the DLCs and then that's getting a little bit more chunky. That's currently half price, and yeah, goes on until January the 12th. For many people, this seems to have remained a hidden gem. It's The Last Campfire. It's 70% off at the moment, and that's in the EU regions, and it's a nice puzzle adventure, story-driven in a way game, and it was brought to us by the infamous Hello Games studio, who are obviously responsible for No Man's Sky, and fair play to them. Boy, did they do a good job patching that one up. This one potentially kind of got overshadowed by that game, and people saying, oh, it's made by them, so it's worth checking out. It's worth checking out on its own right. Like, it's very enjoyable. It's really smart in terms of its design, and yes, thoroughly charming. I enjoyed this one immensely. Plus, it's got a giant toad. Not that that's any kind of requirement for a good game, but maybe it should be. It has a download size of 2.5 gigs, and it's a very small 6 to 8 hour adventure. Righty-ho then, before the American regions get too vexed, we have an absolute banger, and it's Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana, which is currently 67% off in America, and it's also 67% off here in the UK, so result. This is a brilliant action RPG, possibly the best action RPG on Switch, certainly up there, and in my opinion it's better than the sequel. Now, it does struggle at times a little bit on Switch as far as performance goes. It's not the most beautiful thing to look at, but the gameplay is so good, the combat's so fluid, and the way that you gradually reclaim the island that you're shipwrecked on, and you build up your base, you build up your party, it's just got a very nice flow in terms of gameplay. Plus, the Switch version gives you an awesome little pirate outfit that you can start with, so you know, why wouldn't you? This, as you'd expect, is on the more chunky side in terms of game length. You're looking at around about 50 to 100 hours to do everything. You could complete it at a push in about 40 hours, and it has a download size of 14.7 gigs. Oh, it also has dinosaurs. Yeah, absolutely love this game. It's brilliant. I'm going to try and get my daughter to play this one next, because I think she'll love it. She's currently bashing her way through Monster Hunter Stories 2, just trying to get that done. She got that as a Christmas present. She'd played the demo about 19 times before, and man, I envy. Don't you just envy kids? They get a different experience of games. It like all encapsulates. I'll hear her like dreaming, talking in her sleep, and she'll be talking about Arathalos, and I'll be like, man, I want that. So yeah, 67% off until January the 9th.
Another vision? Or was it just a dream?
From one big hitter to another then, we've got the Assassin's Creed Rebel Collection, which is currently 64% off in all regions, and it includes the Assassin's Creed 4 game as well as Assassin's Creed Rogue. Now, if you haven't played Rogue, you really should have done by now, but it's all about the sea shanties, the nostalgia that comes from going around on the Jackdaw, which is your ship, gradually upgrading it, and just listening to sea shanties. It is gloriously relaxing. For some reason, I got absolutely obsessed with finding all the treasure chests when I originally played this one, and they are dotted around all over the shop, but it is a nice little sideline. I highly recommend it. There's also a little hack here for you. If you ever want to take a much stronger ship, just sail your Jackdaw up close. Well, not too close, because they'll just wreck you, and you're going to have a bit of a swim, but sail close enough that you can see them. Jump overboard and just swim your way all the way to them. Climb up the outside, destroy the whole crew in melee combat, and job done. Yeah, it saves you all the work of getting wrecked, and you can just plunder at will. So there you go, little technique for you. And I've just realised this isn't on sale in the UK eShop at all. It's on sale on Amazon in the UK. So we can get this price for a physical copy, but you're not going to get this price for a digital copy at the moment. So the US, you win on this one. It's 19 gigabytes to download, about 60 to 100 hours to do everything. And I absolutely love these games. That sale goes on until January the 5th. Then we have another excellent game that rarely goes on sale. It's Observer. Now, we mentioned this in our 12 days of SwitchUp, and I was lamenting the loss of the absolutely iconic main character, who's obviously narrated by Rutgers from Blade Runner. But Observer is, a first person, it's almost an investigation / horror experience. It has some moments in it that are a bit like is it Outlast or Outcast? Outlast, where you're being chased by that monster. That's only a few times. Generally, you're hacking into people's minds, sometimes after they've expired, to find out what happened to them. I really enjoyed this. I loved the narration. It could have been better. I think there's potential here for a sequel. And the ending, I mean, games are difficult to end, aren't they? But this one was a bit, went a bit OTT in my opinion. Giant head, non-contextual spoilers. But it carries a download size, quite a chunky 18 gigabyte download. You're looking at about 7 to 10 hours to finish. And yeah, it's the lowest it's ever been, about 80% off, and that's until January the 8th. My pick of the week, and a game that I absolutely love and has seen a massive patch since it launched, and you should own it, it's Disco Elysium: The Final Cut. For anyone that's even been remotely interested in any adventure games over the past 30 or 40 years, anyone that likes old school Final Fantasy in terms of narrative, and yes, I did just say Final Fantasy, no, Disco Elysium is nothing like Final Fantasy, but what those games do so well is hook the player into an enticing story. Well, Disco Elysium does that to a next level, because much of the story is taking place from within your own mind, and you have all these different aspects of your own character that will be constantly giving you advice and different reasons for doing things. There's also a feeling of AD&D underneath the hood of it, whereby some of your decisions will be based on a dice roll depending on what statistic you've got in that area. If you're particularly adept at physical activity, you'll have a higher percentage chance. And it is just a game that it ignores, I'd say, probably the last decade of political correctness. Now, I've not got a problem with, I don't even want to go there. But as far as a creative media, it feels free, and it pays tribute to everyone, but it respects the player in letting you make your choices. It doesn't filter or hold back on any of the things that you say or do, and you suffer the consequences for those things. Absolutely awesome game. Awesome. It's 35% off. That's the lowest it's ever been. My pick of the week. Absolutely. Pick it up. If you don't love it, wow. I mean, we don't have the same taste in games, but there you go. I just, so good. Such a good game. For this price, you're absolutely laughing. It's a 7 gigabyte download. Well worth it. Really well worth it. I haven't put it in this list, but also I know the US and the EU regions have got Death's Door, which we just reviewed, currently on sale at 25% off, and that's absolutely a pickup. I don't know why it's not in this list. I didn't even see that. It's literally just popped up on the screen in front of me. Death's Door, go and buy it. Like, I'll put a bit of footage in here. I might even put the price on the screen. It's 25% off, £13.49. Two incredible games, two games that made my best of the year lists, and in my opinion, two games that should be purchased. Which takes us on to the hidden gem of the week, the last pick, and I guess one that isn't really a hidden gem. It was a hidden gem for me because I hadn't played it before. I hadn't really even heard of it, honestly. And it's To the Moon. It describes itself as a story-driven experience about two doctors traversing backwards through a dying man's memories to artificially fulfill his last wish. And that was enough of an eShop description to get me to purchase the game, and I am gonna bust this one. It's just got me completely hooked. It's very unique, I guess, for the styling. There's no combat here, and it mixes RPG and adventure game mechanics, but it has an incredible soundtrack as well. This one's really I know most of you will probably say, oh, I've played that. Yeah, it's incredible. You should know that one, Walker. And, well, it is what it is. Plus, it's nice and short, you know. Sometimes I want a game that I can just finish. And this one you can do in about 4 to 6 hours. I reckon I'll probably finish this on my next sit down. This one's on sale until January the 16th, and it's 35% off, and a download size of only 824 megs. You will probably be happy or very, very sad to hear that we do have another sales video on Sunday, because this sale is ludicrous, and loads of big games have just gone on sale in the last 20 hours or so. As far as any avoids that you might be tempted to pick up, well, make sure you don't get This Is the Zodiac speaking. It's an absolutely terribly janky oh, it's just awful. Glen reviewed it. If you want a bit of a giggle, go check out his review. But needless to say, it's handled, well, it's not handled at all. It's like they just kicked it out. Definitely avoid that one. And absolutely do not buy Gleamlight. I know we haven't seen the Silk Song yet. It's got to come in 2022, hasn't it? It's got to. But Gleamlight was a terrible copy of Hollow Knight. It doesn't have the open world Metroidvania. It doesn't have the sensible boss fight. It's just rubbish. A couple of people were like, oh, I played it. It was okay. No. You can get upgrades after killing bosses, and it doesn't actually tell you that you've received anything. And they're just so badly designed. No. So those are 2 games you should avoid. Make sure you put all your little notification-y bits on. It's nice to be back, and we will see you on Sunday, where we're going to give away a few games just to kick off the new year. And yeah, for those people that are able to go out tonight, I'm in isolation for like another 5 days or so. Happy New Year from Glen and I. You guys are awesome, and it's been a real pleasure making this channel, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. All that's left to say is, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys, for the last time this year. See ya!